Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic. Of all movie opening scenes, what one sold the entire film the most? Saving Private Ryan. No doubt. Apparently some vets had to leave the theater during the showing of Saving Private Ryan because the opening was so real to them that it took them right back to that time. Even to regular people watching it was raw emotion and changed a lot of people's perspectives on war, I'm sure. One of the things vets praised was the creaking and metallic groans of the tanks. Apparently no movie captured that. What really struck people, and vets, with SPR was that war movies had been going on for decades. Except it was always clean. Unrealistically clean and focusing more on the heroics than the visceral hell. Another technique used that wasn't super common in war movies, was the near-complete absence of music in fighting scenes, something then they continued in Band of Brothers. Their reasoning was that hearing music subconsciously reminds you that this is a movie. I think the intended effect works. It's like it grimly helps remind you that this is real, and while notable examples such as Dunkirk use non-music soundtracks that are there for the purpose of expertly tensing you up with unease, I think the raw edge of SPR and Bob is less a horror movie and more of an uncomfortable witness kind of vibe. I didn't like how clean Dunkirk felt in comparison, while everyone I know fucking loved Dunkirk. Wall-E. It really does a good job setting up the emptiness and solitude of the planet with only a song of visuals. Edit. Thank you kind person for the silver and thanks everyone else for taking the time to read, upvote, and reply to my comment. And such a long scene, they really took their time, and it paid off in spades. Of all the answers I've seen on this thread, I've probably got to say this one takes the cake. The fact that there's no dialogue for the first 20 to 30 minutes but still keeps your attention is beyond impressive. Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is my #1. It's so iconic. So May films, TV, etc. pay homage to it. The statue, the boulder rolling, grabbing the whip from under the door, everything. It's perfect. Edit. He grabbed the whip from under the door in Atla, the hat grab was from Temple of Doom. All the indie movies *. The intros go on forever, and they're so good. *I haven't seen #4. *I haven't seen #4. We do not speak of it. It is the movie that must not be named. The Matrix. The first time the camera stops and swoops for Trinity's mid-air kick, we knew we were in for something different. And then every movie for years to come had slow-motion wire fighting. But wow, seeing The Matrix for the first time was such a treat. One little detail I love about that scene, Trinity is revealed to be a superhuman fighter that can take out several armed men. Then when she hears there's an agent, she is scared. That was a great way to sell the agents without even having to show anything they can do yet. Get up, Trinity. Surprised this is this far down. The opening scene literally sold the movie to the producers. The story goes that they didn't have the budget to make the whole movie with the effects they wanted because they were too expensive. Instead of skimping on effects, they blew the budget on the opening scene and showed it to the producers to get the budget increased. It worked. Edit. Guess it's not all that far down now. No, Lieutenant. Your men are already dead. Airplay. Listen, Betty, don't start up with your white zone shit again. Don't tell me which zone is for stopping and which zone is for loading. Edit. I don't know why the copyright symbol popped up. Wasn't there when I did my reply. Weird glitch maybe. I deleted it. Just admit it, you want me to have an abortion. It's really the only sensible thing to do. Inglorious Bastards. Christoph Waltz instantly owns that scene. His presence is the entire focus of the scene, it's amazing. He really deserved that Oscar. One of the best villains ever. I lost my shit when they revealed there was an in-universe reason they were speaking English, and it wasn't just a contrivance for the audience's benefit. I think I completely forgot about this. Would you mind giving me a refresher on the reason? Super Troopers. You boys like Mexico. Littering and smoking the reefer. The OG Star Wars. Not the title crawl but the one right after that. This is so difficult to overstate. I remember experiencing those first few minutes after the crawl. SF movies before the opening scene of Star Wars were either so cheesy or very abstract. First, holy crap, that's a real planet. Then, oh wow, that's a real spaceship. No way. Those are real lasers. And then the Star Destroyer. My God. Saw it in the theater at age 7. Changed my life. I didn't know that a person could feel that much tension and excitement and release at all, and certainly not from watching a movie. Made me a movie buff for life and even got me into making some indie films. I don't think it's possible any longer to understand the magnitude of the awakening that opening scene brought for blockbuster filmmaking. Before that it's like everyone was kind of dicking around. It tells you all you need to know about the odds the rebellion is up against. The cruiser looks like a decent-sized ship at first, but then the Star Destroyer comes overhead and it feels like it goes on forever. And even that is tiny next to the Death Star. I would even say the crawl and the opening music. Up until that point all movies followed the same format for opening the movie with credits right up front. Lucas got in trouble for not following the format, was fined by the Directors Guild, which he then quit. He single-handedly changed the industry. Lucas got in trouble for not following the format, was fined by the Directors Guild, which he then quit. And he only got in trouble after Star Wars was successful. The Guild didn't care at first because everyone thought the first movie would bomb. The Guild started to put up a fight for Empire Strikes Back, and that's when Lucas told them to fuck off, but he could continue to keep his crew because they were already signed on to production. Then when Return of the Jedi went into production the Guild stopped Lucas from hiring the directors he wanted. Lucas ran into a lot of issues filming Empire Strikes Back. The biggest problem is that almost everything cost 3 times as much as the first movie because people saw the name on the contract and figured they could charge more. Thus, why Return of the Jedi had the fake production name Blue Harvest. He got fined. Although best practices was just a thing where you didn't screw with it because there's a reason things are done this way. The Dark Knight. My answer as well. It sets up the entire film so perfectly. The Joker is an unhinged maniac whose allegiances are always to be questioned. What appears as an elaborate bank robbery quickly reveals itself to be a larger scheme. The soldiers of the robbery start picking each other off one by one after each of their usefulness is exhausted. The bank, the seeming victim at the time, reveals itself to be affiliated with the mob and not as innocent as you once thought. The Joker is not unhinged. He knows exactly what he's doing. Every detail and process is meticulously planned. The gives everyone a job, has them kill one another to tie up loose ends. Robs a bank, taking only the mob money. Leaves the marked bills. Somehow manages to drive a bus into traffic the exact moment a convoy of buses is driving by, and just disappears until he crashes the mob meeting. It sells the Joker as a clever, ruthless bastard. Without telling you he is. It instead shows you. Which is like a thing too many movies and TV shows remember they can do. It also shows that he isn't afraid to get dirty. He didn't just send some guys to rob a bank, and off each other in the process. He participated. You can't just have your characters say how they feel. That makes me angry. Scream. The tension and terror were built up perfectly and the eventual killing of Drew Barrymore's character was shocking. Not just in its brutality, which was quite graphic for its time, but because such a major name was killed off that soon into a movie. The opening kill is a tried and true horror trope, but it had never been done before with such a big name so early in a film. For the rest of the film, every time you saw a big name show up, Eva Campbell, David Arquette, Courtney Cox, you weren't sure if they were going to make it to the end of the film or not. Great to see love for the Scream franchise. Love the meta-references and callbacks to some classic horror flicks. And yes, that opening scene is intense and many believed Drew Barrymore was the main star and were shocked. Also seeing that ghost face mask for the first time is legit scary. Rip Wes Craven. Funny thing, that is actually a reference to Psycho, which had the same issue. Janet Leigh had top billing, but the famous shower scene was the end of Act 1. Children of Men. I went into the theater blind and 5 minutes in I knew to buckle my seat belt. Now I have 2 good reasons for a rewatch. Can't remember the opening at all. My memory isn't failing me, it's a news montage and storefront explosion. Haven't seen it since the theater though. The fact that I remember that is testament to how great an intro it is. My memory is like Swiss cheese. Hot Fuzz, the pace, the settings, the little stupid details. And in advanced cycling. You want me to take this up to the chief inspector? I love Hot Fuzz so much. I love the entire mood around it, serial killings, ancient conspiracies, Angel the Super Cop. But then it is just a bunch of British comedians in the countryside. It just tickles me. *Angle. Tropic Thunder. The opening fake trailers were a great way to start that movie off. And no one saw it coming. 3. More times. Who left the fridge open? MTV Movie Awards Best Kiss winner Tobey Maguire. And Beijing's coveted Crying Monkey Award.